coming into the year, did you expect to win it all?
No. A lot of the success was really generated from the players more than anything else. Getting guys to buy into the culture and kind of buy into working hard, execution. It's really not. I had the opportunity to have some incredible players who really gave it their all, and then we had a good group of guys come through who were talented at the same time, and just kind of like a perfect storm worked out in my favor, or in our favor. It really did come down to the 7 seniors kind of understanding that their role, you know, it was the point of time in the season, like the Metro playoffs, when finally guys were like accepting the role that they were going to have for the playoffs, and they accepted it. And once they bought in and accepted that role and weren't looking to get, you know, one more thing or worried about what their stats were, they just wanted to get the W, that's all that mattered. Once that happened with those guys, everything else fell into place, because now you had a group of selfless 7 seniors who said this is how it's going to be moving forward, and we're going to make sure this thing goes forward the right way.
So we really just wanted to team build. That's honestly what we were trying to do. There wasn't much leadership, you know, before that, so we just wanted to make sure that we established camaraderie. We wanted to establish leadership. Honestly, like, winning state was furthest from my head. Like, I hadn't even thought of that. It was a dream, you know, I always wanted to do that. But it was not something that I honestly, you know, had as part of the plan.
We actually weren't supposed to win anything. You know, O'Day's known for, I guess now it's probably known a little bit for baseball, but back then it really wasn't known for that. It was known for like football, basketball, like everything else. And so, you know, there wasn't a lot of hope of us winning. And the culture, when I came in as a sophomore, at least, I started on varsity as a sophomore, was pretty like dismal. Like, oh, like, we're not going to make it to the playoffs because Eastside's really good, Blanchette's really good. You know, you name it. Just a bunch of teams were way better than us.
I mean, so many guys had to step up and do their jobs and take on responsibilities they didn't have the year before. Our catcher, Sean Yanis, did an incredible job of filling in the shoes for Bourbon as best he could. You know, just a different catcher, different experience. When we got to the Metro playoffs, it was at that point in time where we had to get red hot.
Like middle of the road during the season, and then towards the end we just caught fire. And so, you know, it's really about, you know, never giving up, having you know, your guys' backs because they have yours, and, you know, just pushing through adversity.
You know, it was kind of more of a, what I feel like is more of a typical O'Day team. They're all friends with each other. They started to build and buy in to each other. So we really felt like, yeah, they were coming around with those aspects. And
you know, I'm like, they're just humans, you know, they're just like us. They're really talented, but, you know, we can beat them. And yeah, so I always had that belief, and then it just kind of became infectious. Like, everyone started to believe. And that probably happened about halfway through 09 season. We kind of had this flip. And that's when we started winning, kind of putting together some wins. We kind of got on a hot streak.
It was at Safeco Field, and they had both teams come out from center field. So both teams, we had to stand next to each other before we came out. And our guys are typical O'Day dudes. They're loose, they're laughing, they're making fun of each other. They're ready. You know, they're loose, their minds are right. You look across the breezeway of Bainbridge, and their guys are tight-lipped. You can tell there's nerves. It was just like, it was black and white, you know. We were confident, we were having fun, we were enjoying the moment, and it looked like the Bainbridge team was just scared to lose.
Yeah, so that was really, really, I don't know, it was just fun. It was a fun ride to be on. It's like the only ones who believed in ourselves was our team. Everyone else did not believe in us, but it's just fun to be a part of. And I felt like we had a really, really close-knit group. It's the best way I can describe it.
It was nice to be able to have competition that we weren't familiar with. And once we won, I was definitely looking forward to playing Bainbridge for the state championship, because that was just, them being a rival. Us having a couple kids from Bainbridge, that really fueled us.
Yeah, so it was like with baseball being in the spring, it was real nice send off to get the championship and move onward. In regard to myself, it just allowed me to really understand the impact that teamwork has.
We were going to have a lot of those guys returning. So when it was all said and done, there was this moment of, we can do this again. I wouldn't necessarily say it was like relief as much as it was like invigorating.
2010, the target was much bigger. We played, opponents of a similar caliber and expectation. Like we played Redmond that year for a non-league game, and they had Michael Conferto and Dylan Davis on that team, and another guy who went to Gonzaga, I can't remember the guy's name. But they had, Redmond had Michael Conferto and Dylan Davis both playing on that team, and we ended up winning in a 9-inning game at Hartman Park. It was like 13-12. Every skip hitting home runs back and forth and hitting bombs. And it was a fun game to be at. It was a ton of offense, but it also got real late fast.
There's an article in Seattle Times written about how many runs we'd score per game. Like we were averaging like 14 runs a game in the playoffs. And one of the articles compared us. It was something like, I remember reading it, it was like, if you're a Seattle baseball fan and you want to see runs scored, don't go watch the Mariners, come watch the O'Day Fighting Irish baseball team. You'll see offense. So it was pretty cool to have that kind of recognition that, we were a pretty dominant team.
An offensive juggernaut. They went off on teams. After we lost 3-2 to Nathan Hale in the first round of the Metro playoffs, we outscored our opponents in the next 4 games in the Metro tournament 64-4.
Anyways, Andres Calderon was this kid who, didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but then a couple injuries, Josh Dickerson goes down. He had to step in and play third base, and I think you can find a clip on YouTube of him making the last play against Camas. Where he's at third base and the ball is hit like he made a pro baseball throw from third base. He's like 6 feet behind the base, 2 feet into foul territory when he fields his ball, and he throws a rope to first base for the last out of the game.
To think you keep going, obviously, it's really hard to keep doing this time after time. It takes a lot of opportunity, luck, and talent, and all of them have to be equally a piece of it. And it just didn't happen that way. We had a few more things we had to go through the next season that didn't quite allow us to do that.
It was way different. It was a lot sweeter of a victory, because like I was telling you earlier, in 9 I didn't really expect to win state. I just wanted to just to build on the team and build camaraderie, but in 9 we established who we were, and then in 10 when we did win the back-to-back, it was a lot sweeter because number 1, it was a back-to-back championship, and number 2, it definitely reinforced the idea that Coach Doyle and I and OCD and the other OCD and Coach T, it reinforced everything that we were shooting for.
I'm just very impressed with not only those first few teams of O'Day baseball players, but all the guys who have succeeded them. It takes a special kind of person to take advantage of the opportunity that they have here. It's a different experience than you get at most other high schools. I mean, obviously the all boys thing aside, it's really when it comes to the baseball program, with the travel that we have, you know, when it comes to sharing space and, you know, limited, you know, facilities on campus, you know, you just make the best of your opportunities, and that it's really a testament to the players that they've really taken advantage and even made our challenges be some of our greatest attributes.
You know, some of the things that I learned about O'Day, and I told you guys this on the field the other day, we don't have much here. We don't have much here, but what we do have, we work with, and we try to do our best with it. Prior to Coach Doa being the head and me being his assistant, I know, you know, other than 2005, because O'Day won state in 2005, but other than that, and they were even a mediocre team. You can ask Coach Doa, you know, they weren't the best team, they just got hot at the right time. Coming into a program and knowing that there wasn't much there and being able to work with that program, work with what we have and building it up to this upper echelon, very competitive team. That's just what O'Day does. You know, that is typical O'Day, to take what you have and to do your best with it, to overachieve, to maximize your efforts, to squeeze every ounce of success out of what you have and what you're given. You know, you can definitely prove to yourself and to a lot of people that you don't need a whole lot, you just need the will to be able to succeed.
Say it.
Don't ever sleep on O'Day.
Never.
Never.
Never.